Right. Climb. Spicy start. So this is the Virtuslo cycling club. This is their group ride. They have on a Monday. This will be a preview of the course that's used on Wednesday's race. 57-kilometre route today. So it looks like it should be fairly gentle now that we're over that first bump. A bit of a climb within the final 10k or so. Looks like it could be a good setup for a nice race on Wednesday. So these first few K do look quite technical with the times. Got little bumps, uphills and downhills. Can cause it to split. Actually having to work quite hard just to stay in the pack. It's moving pretty fast, like we said. Not hanging around. And this is just the recon group ride. This isn't even the race yet. So the race is on Wednesday evening, 5 PM GMT, 6 PM European time. Sharp downhill there in 80 kilometers an hour, 50 miles an hour. Short little bump to get over here. Well, I was not expecting it to be this spicy this early on. Hopefully it will settle down a little bit now. No rankings for this race, I can't easily tell how many people in this group. Put a little spurt, stay in that group. Of course, it's up and down, as you can see. Tasty little incline there. Oh, 85p, and I feel like I'm working. Roof off the front there, 10 metres up the road. See if I can bridge across. Okay, nice. Bit in that draft before the next descent. There we go, that's nice. This is nice, so nice hard ride. That's what I wanted. Oh. Bouncing on and off the front. Not really paying that much attention. I'm also just texting and chatting. Good. Route looks pretty interesting, up and down. Little bumps. Really got to be on the ball. You might think you're in the draft 1 second. But then you can drop off the back the next. And put the effort to get back on. They're inside line, that's nice. I'm just trying to settle in. Every second or third wheel, if we get a good draft saving, you can see that 300 watt saving. You guys going off the front. That's going to pick up the pace, so be alert, get ready to respond. There you go, let's see the rider swing past me. So I've got to lift my pace. And now I'm at the front as they ease up. And we shoot past. We hit the slight downhill. There's a little surge there. I'm just going to ease up on the power now. Try and slot in a little bit, there we go. Other car's moving across. Just getting in there, third, fourth wheel. Keeping my nose out of the wind. Watching the braking around that corner. That's a nice inside line. Then power on the exit. Make sure you don't get overtaken and dropped. Try and stay towards the front of the pack, that's the safest area. You can see what's happening, you can respond. Gives you a little bit of breathing space to grab a wheel if you are a bit slow. to the front of this group, pushing out 4 watts a kilo. So I should be able to sit in the pack at 3. There we go, nicely in the pack. Again, big draft saving. We hit this slight 0.7% uphill. Just watching for any surges. See red numbers on the left, yeah, left. Be alert for that. We're using all the data on the screen to control your pace, control your power output. So slight downhill now, fairly gentle. Just using that, just to sit in, not pushing, conserving that energy. Nice stretch here, nice straight, no corners to worry about. Actually quite easy to overshoot sometimes. But don't ease off too much. As soon as you hit that wind, it does slow you up. You start falling backwards. See there, a little bit of that stretching. I've got a wheel. I'll up my pace. Looking at the top left there, making sure that that distance doesn't get too big. It tells me how far behind I am. You don't want that going above 5 really. That's when you really stop losing that draft. Now tuck back in. A little bit on the outside. Just want a little bit of power just to stay in contact. So there, because I've gone a bit of a greater speed, I've just popped down the left-hand side where that clear road is. Now I'm in the front. Because your avatar is always going to move when it's trying to overtake. You're going to look for free space. With the collision detection on RGT, you can't just ride through the back of someone. You're on the outside line. So I need to respond. Bit of power down. Make sure I don't get dropped. And tucking back in for that pack. Settles back down again. I can move across. As I'm a little bit slower than these riders to my left, I'll just slot in behind. Back into their slipstream. There we go, pretty comfortable now. Just watching that pack. Right hand turn coming up ahead. Slightly on the left. So I just need to be alert. Quite a gentle corner though, so I should be okay. It's not going to get too strung out. And I'm on the front now anyway. That usually gives you a good line through the corner. Just watching steam there, look, 5 watts a kilo. Pushing off the front. The pack's going to respond to that, I imagine. There's going to be a little bit of a surge. So you just want to up your pace, just to respond to those riders around you. But you don't want to overdo it, you don't want to go shooting off the front and then hitting the wind yourself. See that? See how I managed to stay second or third wheel. Right hander coming up then. I've got the inside line. Oh, just move to the left because I'm going a bit faster than the bunch. So that took me to the outside, but now there's the left hander, so I'm back on the inside. I'm just matching the speed of these guys. Sitting in behind, doing what I can to conserve the energy. If this was a race, I'd be trying to save as much energy as I can towards the end. Looking at this profile, that last 10k, we've got that climb, and it's downhill to the finish. That's where you're going to be wanting to do your maximum effort, not now. Just let the pack rotate. Good bunch here, enough riders. But no one needs to spend too much time on the front. Quite confident that my heart rate's at 150, that's pretty low for me. When I did the echelon race yesterday, I think my average was 175 for an hour, so we're down at 150, that's pretty good. Obviously that varies by individual. So I'm sure you've got a good idea on your heart rate zones. So we're about a quarter of the way into the race now. Nicely settled. So I'm a bit on the outside here. I'm not getting as much grass saving as I could be. We are going slightly uphill, so it is reduced a little bit. There we go, that's better. 200 watt saving now that I'm behind these guys. And I'll float to the side, that drops to 100, makes a big difference. That's all controlled by your speed versus their speed. You see my avatar moving right over to the left, looking for that gap. Looking to get past those riders in front because I'm a bit faster. If you're going fast enough, it will find a gap between riders, but generally, you're only 100 or 200 watts difference between you and the guys in front. You're going to go sideways, it's going to create that echelon effect. Right hander into the left hander, in the middle of the road. The full cancels each other out, pretty good. No one really pushing out of that corner. All quite relaxed. Slot back in behind. There we go, nice and comfortable. I've got a lot of riders. See this rider in white just in front of me. He came to the front and he's right up. Oh, sharp left. So right middle of the road, comfortable. I'll slot back in those inside line riders. Sometimes you need to watch it on those corners. Those riders on the outside, suddenly they feel like they're 10 metres behind. They're going to be pushing to get back into the front. And there might just be a bit of a surge as they come through. Often they'll just ease up. But you do need to watch just in case the pack responds to that. Sometimes they do. Hopefully you're finding this interesting. If you have got any questions, then do put them in the chat. I'll try and answer any questions you might have. So, switch back coming up here, look, sharp right hander. Got the perfect line there on the inside. Exit at the front. And just watch as they come past on the left. As you get that surge I was just talking about with riders on the outside. And part of that is the draft effect as well. You're going to slow down because you're on the front. And they're going to speed up a little bit because they've got that draft from yourself. So they'll get a slingshot past you. A little bit of a break there from those guys. just stretching it out. It's a good tactic in a race. Put a bit of pressure on after a sharp corner like that. You get the accordion effect, which stretches it out. And if those riders are at the back, aren't responding, aren't alert, then there's a chance the elastic will be snapped and they'll get dropped. So what are we looking at? 15 riders or so up here. Have a little look behind. Oop. There's that echelon effect. With riders on the inside, just stretch it out a little bit. And now we go left. Comes back together. But those riders in front, they will come across. They will try to hit the apex if there's room for their avatar to do so. They will try and close that gap a little bit. Good numbers in today's event, 125 riders online at the moment. Good to see. Hopefully we'll have that many on race day as well. Wednesday, 5 PM GMT. I think if you can get over that first 5K on Wednesday, get up to this climb, which doesn't look too bad looking at the profile at the bottom there. See the yellow gradients leading up to it. A couple of light red segments, that's normally 6 or 7% gradient. Nothing dark red, which is your 9 and 10% gradients. So that's where this race will probably be won or lost. Still got a good 25, 30k before we get to that point though. Still overall descending by the looks of things. Just been alert there, look, drifted to the back a bit. The speed picks up, and that slight downhill. Keeping the concentration on. So easy. Just to turn away for a second, lose that wheel. Back in now though, nice and safe. So far so good. I know this is more of a group ride, so not everyone's racing. But you can tell these guys at the front are. They're having a bit of fun today. Testing each other out, testing each other's legs ahead of the race in a couple of days' time. A couple of riders have gained on us there. Oh, suddenly a big bunch come back together. Suddenly there's that rider in the yellow jersey. You can see him on the left hand side there. I was aware that he wasn't in our group. They came from nowhere. Now we've got a really big group. Now we've got to be careful. That big group also will help with the draft. Also make it a bit more tricky. But it will stretch out that accordion effect. Hey, there's Hal Blackburn, the Restart Racing rider. A strong rider. I know he likes to race over 50k events. Seen him in this Virtually Slow event a few times. We did a mammoth solo breakaway a couple of weeks ago. And we did another breakaway the week after in a pair. But caught on the big climb though. And you've certainly got more lively since these groups have come together. A bit more surging. Pace has picked up a bit. A few hilly bits through here as well. 7% bit there, look. We'll have to cut that. Can't rely on the draft there. So when you're in a bigger group like this, speed differential does rack up. A bit easier for one or two people to affect things on the front. Yeah, let's get stretched out. Now I'm on the front, but I've reacted. I've flown through. Got that slingshot. Trouble is, when you're on the front on your own, you're not reacting. It's very easy for the group to come steaming past you. So they've got momentum. You've got to be alert to that. They're going to have greater speed than you when they catch you. And you're going to have to be ready to put in a little bit of power just to make sure you don't get dropped. So it looks like the group's fragmented a little bit then. A few riders dropped off the back. We hit some more rolling terrain, which will mix things up. A few more corners to contend with as well. But Blackburn on the front, driving the pace a little bit. Little hill here, 2%. Got a chance to attack. Just drive the pace. A good chance to try and drop a couple of riders that aren't paying attention. Like stretching it out. Okay. Now I'm just going to try and sit in. Hit these little downhills. Not eating off too much. Staying in that draft. I'm on the outside, I'm being alert. Ready to put some power down if I need to, just to stay on those wheels. Little push and I'm back on. I'm moving back up the pack. back to the front. That's the safest place. Give yourself a bit of room to manoeuvre and pull back if you need and still have a wheel. But still getting a good draft saving, like being second or third wheel. So I'm just looking at the profile on the top right as well, seeing what's coming up. So it looks like downhill for the next 600-700 metres. And a little bit of an uphill, about 500 metres now. So on the top right, that little elevation chart, that shows a kilometre in front of you and a kilometre behind. Give you an idea of what's coming up, how far away it is. So a little bump in a minute. Could be a good place to attack. So you just need to be alert. Make sure you're not at the back. You're going to be moving forward before you hit the bottom of that climb. There you go, there's a bit of an attack on the left. Some red numbers. So we're just going to sit in. Get what draft saving we can. Get the pack. Put us back across. There you go, nice bunch of 5 or 6 riders there. Slot in behind. Keeping a bit of power on, not easing up too much. There we go, nicely in the bunch. Have a little climb, get power on. Come back up into the pack. No panic, not falling off the back, not wasting energy on the front. Not getting caught out by the accordion effect. I'm looking ahead up the road. I can see we're on a right-hander, but then there's a left. So that'll balance out my position. Doing what I can. You can see in the top left, I'm getting the red numbers. My avatar's braking. I'm doing what I can just to minimise that. I'm not trying to push too hard into the pack. It's rare, this one will ease off slightly. Maybe a slightly lower cadence. Maybe just a change of gear. So I'm not pushing the wheels so hard. Yeah, now got right down to 100 watts or so. But ready for the surge of the riders coming past. Not too bad though, we're hitting a little bit of an uphill. That's scrubbing my speed off. I have to get ready. Put a bit of power on. Looks like a bit of a gentle drag now for the next 600-700 metres. There we go, that's nice. Good position. Not trying to overtake. Using those riders in front of me. Not having to push too hard. As soon as 2 or 3 go past like this little group, get that power on, hook onto the back. Just a little burst. But you don't have to do a big burst. It's getting a bit stretched out now. It's still hitting the uphill. I can feel a little downhill coming as well, so that's a danger zone to the front group. Front of the pack's going to start speeding up. If you're at the back, you're still climbing. They're going to be speeding away from you, especially on a straight downhill like this. Not very steep, only 3% gradient there. But everyone's flying past. Speed's picking up. 500 watt draft saving right now. So now I'm at the back, I can see on the left hand side, 25 metres back to the rider behind me. So I do not want to lose a wheel when I'm in that position, because that'll be game over. That's the danger zone. So if I push forward again, get into the front third of this pack, that's where I can be safe, that's where I can respond. You see on the top right, it's quite up and down. Quite bumpy. Doesn't let you drop your concentration at all. So I'm just easing off before I hit the front. I don't want to keep the power on and then be on the front. But I'm going to go flying through. I want to ease up just before. Use that draft just to bring you forward. And then get back on the power. Settle in. You can hear that if I keep the power on, actually there's a bit of an attack on the right. As we approach the halfway point. You can see that I'm doing 300 watts. Get the power on, I just fly through. Now if I use that just as I come in behind, I just settle in. So it's little bits all the time, not big hard efforts. Little push here and there, changing the gear occasionally. So I use my gears just to affect my output a little bit. So swapping into an easy gear just to help me feather that power off a little bit. Changing down, I need a bit more power, a bit more resistance. Makes me push on the pedals a bit harder. Just trying to stay as comfortable as possible. Looking around, right, road sign there, 2% gradient. Normally road sign means attack by somebody. So be alert. Not that steep here. Anything 2-3%. Just sit in and get the draft. 4, 5, 6%. You're going to have to work a bit harder. The draft is going to drop down to only maybe 50 watts. 7, 8, 9 and above. Basically there's nothing. It's just on you then. You're going to have to match the watts per kilo of the guy at the front. So if someone's timing at 5, you've got to match that 5. Whereas here, guy at the front doing 4, I can sit in at 3. Let's sit on that tail. On Blackburn there, that I'm at 2.3, front's at 3. Bit more rolling terrain here. A little bump coming up. Nothing really that meaningful though. Nothing a quick little burst won't get me up and over. You can see how it's stretching out. That is the train doing that. Just being alert there and come back together a bit. Hopefully this is helping those of you watching just learn a little bit about how the RGT platform works. Getting a few tips. Help you with your riding on the platform. If you're coming over from Swift, it is quite different. Not just a threshold effort. You really can use a bit more tacticalness, a bit more mental side of it. It's not just physical. Not just one big sticky blob. So today is a rest day on the Tour de Monde. That's the 12th stage, 16-day event. It's currently taking place on RGT, hosted by OTR Racing and Magic Roads Events. So we've had 2 stages so far. Rest day today. And then Tiananmen Mountain tomorrow. The road of 1,000 bends. It's only 15k. There's a lot of hairpins. I think it's about 1,200 meters of climbing. It does ramp up significantly at the end. It's going to be a tough day for the riders. Now we've had some good numbers so far in that competition. Not too late to take part. Anyone's welcome to enter any stage. Go for a stage win. Or maybe go back and get the Magic Road code for stage 1 and 2. Do it in your own time. Add the times onto the GC. See how you would have fared. Stage 1 was an individual time trial, no drafting, so no loss there for doing it on your own. Stage 2 was pretty bumpy, up in the age in Belgium stage. So it seems to have settled back down a bit in this race now. The pack seems to have shrunk a bit. New riders falling off the back. Pack size of 20 on RGT is pretty comfortable. Don't get so much churn, not so much washing machine cycle of people coming to the front, getting pushed to the side, pushed to the back. A bit more manageable, a bit easier to respond and move around, a bit more space on the road. Doesn't get quite so strung out in the corners. If you shake a few riders off early, does help things. Of course, then less riders to sprint against. Oh, I don't know if that's a big attack or someone who was just caught off the back there. They steamed through and now they've eased up. Again, you just got to watch out for that. Might just lead to a little surge. Someone might respond, think that's an attack. Nice straight road here. Oh no. See that? Put myself out there. I've got a nice straight road. Eased up on the power. I've lost some position and nearly gone out the back on what looks to be a nice easy bit of road. Back in now though, panic over. Let me approach this little bump. Right, round the outside, power on. Making sure I get back to the front. But Blackburn's still doing quite a bit of work on the front. He's having a good training session. That guy's got an engine and a half. So it looks like it's generally uphill now. The next 15k or so. Gently rising before we hit that main climb of the day. Maybe 7 or 8k from the summit of that to the finish. So you really want to be in the leading pack at the summit, or at least in a little group, facing down one or two riders. So I've expected a lot of Slovenians in this group. Canadian there, Mr. Baker, Italian and French, another Brit alongside myself, that's Mr. Blackburn. Well attended, good numbers again, still up at 120 riders, 48 minutes in. Good to see. So probably looking at an hour and 20 minutes for this race, I'd have thought. There's still half an hour to go. Have to be a little bit more on the power as we hit these gentle up gradients. We're still trying to conserve as much energy as possible for that climb. Nice and controlled there, bringing it back. Didn't panic. Oh, this is nice. Nice workout today. Quite on the limit. Nice solid hour ride. And I'll see what I can do on that climb. So thanks for tuning in. If you have a question, you can write it in the chat and I will see it. Hopefully try and answer it for you. Or come and join us on the Discord channel. Link is in the description. Nice friendly RGT community awaits. Need help or assistance, or want to look for an event, more info on the time trial, the Tour de Monde, it's all in there. Lots of people ready to help you out as well. So if you're looking for an event, there's the Tuesday night track event starting tomorrow, new series, Omnium style event, being hosted by Chris O'Hearn. So that's 4 short events back to back. There's a scratch race initially, about 8 kilometres I think. Then there's a 3-lap, oh well, I think it's 1 lap tomorrow, 1 lap sprint of the Herne Hill Velodrome, 500-metre sprint, 45 seconds or so, flat out. Got big U-bend here, I'm gonna pay attention. Then there's an individual time trial after that, 7.5k on Borrego Springs. And then to finish as usual, the elimination race. Back at the velodrome, 1 rider, getting ejected every lap. That race is wicked. I've done it twice, it's super tough, good fun. A real workout for the mind and body. So check that out, that's at 6:30 the first event tomorrow. That's UK time. There's also the Bettis Hanger 45-kilometre crick. That's also at 6:30, but that's just a straight up single race. And then British Cycling, they're getting involved as well on RGT. They've got a crick race starting at 7 o'clock. And that's featuring my local crick course, the Torbay Velo Park. I think that's about 35k. A lot of options tomorrow. There's also the early ride at 10:45 AM. The early race. Early morning slot for our American riders, but also good for those Euro time zone riders who practice on a bit earlier in the day. Right, we're hitting a few bumps here then. Having to concentrate, work a bit harder. Watch those corners. Those tight ones get real strung out. Probably going to stop talking a bit now. I'll try and focus. I feel a bit committed now that I've got this far. 40k in. I don't know what's on to Blackburn there. Looks like he's been dropped. He's an experienced rider. He might have a chance to come back in though. Strong rider. Wouldn't be surprised to see him come back. Especially if we've got a bit of a hill here, have a little bump. 10 miles to go, 16k. Right, the pace is just easing up a little bit. You can just relax in as we approach the hill. Probably about 5k to the main part of that climb. We're just looking to save their legs a little bit. You see how it's all spread out across the road. An indication the pace isn't that high. No one pushing. Well, it looks like I've got to go. I've locked my wife out. Right guys, I'm going to call it quits there after an hour. So I've got a few chores to do. Hope you enjoyed that, hope you learned a few bits. And I will be racing this on Wednesday, so I'll be streaming that possibly. So I'll catch you again soon. Thanks for watching.